Hey everybody, ready for the Nest show today?
I knew you were going to do that.
Happy Friday, Nesh.
Friday.
Happy Friday.
And
No,
welcome back. We haven't seen you in a
call that
while.
I'm just interfering for a second.
All right, we'll
Just
give
a
everyone.
reminder, get on camera, please.
We got some end of the year functions in the East just for schools, James. So I know there's a couple folks in the Carolinas and Chicago that may or may not be on. They have end of the school
Yeah,
performances with their kids. So just FYI, they gave me
Right.
heads up, but they said I better take notes.
We have notes. We have a recording. We actually have a school graduation going on in our event space right now, so
Oh,
you might hear some skipping. I'm
yeah.
skipping my kid's performance this evening. I don't know if I'm buying that one.
I just had mine this morning, my fifth grade graduation. So yeah, it's a real thing.
All right, so let's get started. For those of us that are here, we're going to get a head start. And, as they say, you got to be in it to win it. So we could not be more excited. Myself, James, Kamran, Joe, and Nash have put a lot of time and thought into ultimately how we can partner with you to grow your business, right? And I think contest and competition just bring out the best in each other. And as much as we are competing each other, because there is a leaderboard, there are winners, there are prizes, there's also this collaboration aspect, right? And it's something that we started on last call where people are sharing what they're doing that's working now, right? So there's doing things transactionally in a silo, or there's doing things planned purposefully and systematically. So what we're going to want to do on these calls is a couple different things, right? Today, we'll kick the contest off. We'll go through the scoreboard. We'll go through, all of the fun things and what we can do with Kamran's hair at the end of this contest. And we want to also share how we can catalog what everyone is doing, right? So everyone is great in their own lane and has their own business and their own way of doing things, including myself, James, Kamran, and Joe, that we can add on. But we want to document all this. So at the end of these 2 months, when the contest is done, everyone here has a comprehensive playbook of what's working now. So if you do something with an agent, it's working now, Nash will create a document, add it in there with as many details as you can. We'll add in our email, text templates, and everything else. And then at the end, we'll organize into something with chapters and categories. So it's a way that you can proactively make decisions each day on what's working now. So our contest is going to be 60 days long. It's going to require you to do things every single day that actually make you money. I can wholeheartedly say this. There is no human that is on this call that if they do the things that score points in this contest will not drive the next quarter to be the best quarter of their lives, because we know loans don't all close in 30 and 60 days. So you'll see the fruits of this. And ultimately, my goal is for you guys to have the best Christmases, Hanukkah, holidays filled with gifts, money, happiness, and time off with your families where you're not worried about when your next deal is, right? So most of the chaos that comes from salespeople is when's my next deal? When's my next deal? The whole reason that happens is that we don't proactively do the same things that we need to do each day to continue to grow our business, right? So I'm going to walk you through the scoring metrics, and then Nash is going to share with you actually how to use the scoreboard. So kudos to her in this elaborate tracker. So we have several different categories and ways that you can make points, right? An agent contact made, right? So if you reach out to somebody, whether it's an email, a text, or a call, you can get 2 points. If you have a conversation, you can get 5 points. If you book a meeting, you can get 15 points. If you present to a small, like a team of people or a sales meeting, you can get 20 points. For any lead that you get 50 points. Any application that you open up, you get 100 points. And if you close a deal from a lead or a client that you get during this place, not ones that you had before this, thank you, Jessica, you get 150 points. There is a comprehensive leaderboard on here. So every day you're going to get an email with the leaderboard. So if you're not doing anything, you can expect Kamran or Joe to reach out to you and say, like more like a good, like a health check, like what's going on that you're not doing anything. So here's the other cool part about this from my perspective as a coach. If you're not doing this, there should be like a big red siren going off that says, I'm risking my income in the future. These activities, making contacts, having conversations, booking meetings, following up with people, going to sales meetings, generating leads, opening up applications, and closing deals are all the key activities that drive revenue in your business. Without these, this is what you have, right? So if you can focus on your calendar and your schedule around these activities, you'll quickly realize in the beginning when doing it, how much time you guys spend on absolute nonsense. Text messages, Instagram, emails, like the amount of more people spend time on email inbox management than they do actually generating leads, which is pretty crazy, right? So Brian Tracy has a strategy called Eat That Frog, where you could summarize the whole book. It's like, take the one thing that you don't want to do that has the biggest impact and do it first, which generally in our business, and same thing with agents, is prospecting. So these are the activities. And then the coaching over the next 2 months is going to be focused on, all right, how do I make more contacts? Like, how do I initiate and have meaningful conversations? How do those drive leads? How do they turn into applications? And how do we bring them to close deals? Right. So before we turn it over to Nesh, James, Kamran, Joe, anything that you three want to add?
Sorry, I was muted. Yeah, no, I think this is great. And I think the contest can be fun as long as you participate and realize that it's just going to help you hold yourself accountable. It's going to help you do the activities that I think sometimes get caught up. We get caught up in the day-to-day stuff, and it's easy to get off from the routine of doing these things. Because this can be a very reactive business. As we all know, there's people coming at us all the time, all day. And best laid schedules oftentimes get interrupted by things. So I think this kind of thing just keeps you on track. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Joan Cameron?
And no, James, to kind of echo that, I think it brings out the challenge of the best of us, right? So we see and we share best practices live on these calls. Who's number one? What are they doing differently than number 15 and so on, right? We had a great call 2 weeks ago where it was super interactive and there was a ton of positive feedback. So I think the more we talk about things, the better we all become. So I love this. So I'm excited for it. What about you, Com? I know Com's putting some stuff out there.
I'm very excited. I was just thinking about how much fun this can be and how much fun it can be to compete and to win and josh at each other a little bit and have some fun along the way. So I love Jessica already pumping everybody up and going. I'd love to see some more people participate. And I think most importantly, see someone from the West winning this whole thing so we can have a little leverage against our friends in the other two divisions. I'll let Chirag share the details, but if we can get enough people to participate, really participate, I've offered up to Chris, yeah, just hoping. I'm trying to be encouraging, Chris. I've offered up to shave my head all the way down to nothing if we can get enough participants going at the end. So nice summer haircut.
Here's the problem with that is that Kamran's hair, if he shaves it in the morning, it will be fully grown by about 5 p.m. You've heard of a 5 o'clock shadow? His is actually a full head of hair.
Very true.
James and I paused on anything with the hair just for the audience.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, you're not getting me to touch my hair. I'm trying to get it to grow back, right? So, and I can say this selfishly, I work with Dan. You guys all know that. So Dan, you better deliver in the top 3 of this leaderboard over here, my friend. So look, here's some of the prizes, right? And we're going to do it a little bit differently. The way that it works, it's prize of choice, right? So I'll offer a 1-hour like business planning session with somebody. There's $1,000 gift card, a $500 gift card. There's Kamran's hair, which we all need to participate so we can do something cool. I was thinking of like zigzags, like a Vanilla Ice haircut, but then I realized he has to go to bougie Compass offices, and that really might not bode well for the business, right? Yeah, we can't die. We have to keep him presentable, right? If Parker looked at him with blue hair, he's not going into any offices. He has a hat, exactly.
Yeah, because Chirag, we collectively decided we were going to do it. For those of you that remember the fire starter video by Prodigy, the guy with the mohawk on the sides and then shaved in the middle, we were going to go with that.
Yeah, so it'd be fun. We can put Kamran's picture in ChatGPT one day and map out all kinds of different visuals of his hair. But so there's a business strategy, a planning session. There's $1,000 gift card, a $500 gift card, and then the next time you're all together in one place, James will take one of you out to a restaurant of your choice in the city that you're all in together. So those are the
Is that a
four.
prize or a penalty, Shrug? Which would you call that?
I don't know. As I've gotten to know you, you're pretty entertaining with these one-liners. So I think it's an evening of fun, laughs, and getting to know your CEO. So I think it's a great opportunity, right? So the first person that gets first place gets to pick one of the four prizes all the way down. And look, you can't lose if you participate, right? I know if I was doing this contest, I would just want to win to say that I was the most productive loan officer at Origin Point, right? We will send something out to Robert and the leadership team and everyone at Compass. And look, no one's ever done anything like this before in this space. And like, I think this is really exciting. And I think what's great is that we're going to give you training and support that help drive these activities, right? So we spent a lot of time over the last several months building a really good foundation, I feel, and now it's time for application. It's not time to learn more new stuff. You need to use the stuff you have. And then out of it, coming into the tail end of the year, we can see what your learnings are, where you guys are stuck, and that'll influence the work that we continue to do together. So without further ado, Nesh, you can share your screen and show people actually how to use this magnificent dashboard.
Hi, no problem. Thank you. And then let's see. Can everyone see my screen right now?
Yep.
Okay, perfect. So again, this is our live dashboard, our leaderboard that we're going to have constantly being updated. This will be locked, that you guys can't be able to make any changes to this, but it will automatically show all of the status of everyone. We have the point system here, like Shrug mentioned. Everybody's names are going to be on this, and it will change in rank depending on appointments and everything made. We're going to have our weekly activity board. This will also be locked from you guys, but you will have access to it. Can't make any changes. What I've created is that we're going to have separate tabs for everyone. These will be specifically locked to the person. So here we have Mark Chamberlain. Mark Chamberlain's will be locked. He will have access to it to make all his updates. So it doesn't touch anybody else's, only his. And for example, if he made one contact, let's say on week 1, when we go back to the scoreboard, it shows that he has the 2 points for the agent's contacts made right here, and it will populate and update it as you guys are inputting it. So this is the best way to be able to track it. We definitely want the honesty program to be happening here. So when we start this contest that's happening today, all your agent contacts made starting from today, not from last week or anything. We're going to do it within the next 60 days. So we're going to do it from today. Every Friday, we'll do an update of what's happened for week 1, then week 2, and so on. And then that way that we can keep it on our Friday call when we do this for the 8th week one, and then we can do the prize. We have it set that way. So from every Friday, make sure that you guys are submitting everything as quickly as possible, just so that it shows in your ranking. You want to be able to show, because it will send an email out every single day. And then you can see who you're competing with. I think I've covered everything. And if you have any questions, if you have any issues with getting into this Google Doc or the link or anything like that, always just reach out to me. I think it's best if you don't go to Joe, Kamran, and Chris. And so just come to me directly, and I will make sure that your information's inputted, or any other questions that you have, I will handle it. Sound good?
Thank you.
Can you go on and just show somebody kind of in a live update where they go and what they put in? So click on Mark. So Mark, if in a day if you reach out to 5 people, you can put a 5 there.
Yep.
You had 2 conversations. You set up 2 meetings, no sales presentations. You got 1 new lead. You opened 1 new loan application, right? So pretty simple. Now you go to the scoreboard and you'll see that you have 190 points.
And again, like the closed deals and everything that you guys have is just during these 60 days. So nothing from before, just during these 60 days.
Yep.
And that's, I mean, it's pretty easy, and you guys, the good thing is no one's doing any calculations except this Google Doc, so we're good.
Can we clarify contacts made? Because I feel somebody could shoot out an email to 100 agents. And I don't think that should count.
No, that's not a contact, right? If you send an email to a group of agents, it's just one contact, right? So this is a one-by-one basis.
Cool. Thank you.
No, you don't need to list the agent's name.
Hey, Shirag, sending an email though, shouldn't it be an interaction where there's communication back and forth for it to be a contact? Sending an email is not a contact, is it? Or is it? Do you see that? That way?
Right? The reason I want to count it as a contact for context is we want them to get into the proactive activity of doing something that could lead to conversations, right? So if you look at this, minus the sales meeting, it's a very sequential path of doing things to start conversations, having conversations, booking meetings, getting leads, opening them up as applications, and then ultimately getting them to the finish line.
So would text messages count too on that respect?
Yep. Yes, they do.
I have a question on the sales and team meeting presentations. If I, like on a Tuesday, I have one, I'm gonna try to update this daily so I keep up with it. But then the next day I go back and if I do another sales team meeting, then I would change it to 2, right?
Yep.
And then for that week, are we talking Friday to Friday, Friday to Thursday? Like what's our rolling week if we're starting today? Does it end of business next Thursday? For the weekly?
I would say
tracking?
yes, so that Fridays when we do our meetings and then it's updated, so I would do it
Okay.
from like Friday to Thursday of each week.
Okay, close the business Thursday for week 1.
Yeah, so it starts today, and then we can go from there to end of business day Thursday.
Mhm.
And then also, I know Shrog said you don't have to list your agent names, but I think our divisionals would like to see who you're contacting and stuff like that. So in your section that you have, again, like under marks, I put a section for agent names, and you guys can list like some of the people. And sometimes it's good to show if it's new agents that you're speaking to, people that you haven't connected with before, and then have that all in there.
Who else has logistical questions? So look, today's meeting is short, brief, direct, and to the point, and I want all of you as the natural next step to start mapping out your calendar for next week, right? You should have at least 90 minutes to 2 hours a day of proactive outreach.
I've got one more clarification, I guess, the difference between leads and applications. Applications are going to be truly something that's, trackable in Encompass. They applied, or we took an
What's it called?
application
Like
online.
is it like a 1004 MC? Is that-
1003.
1003, I'm
1003.
close. 1003. All
Okay.
the 1003s you guys get filled.
And so then the leads, though, let's say an agent, we have an email introduction for a lead and we didn't get that far, but we had a good conversation with the lead. That's a
It counts
lead.
as a lead, yeah.
Okay. But then if that lead then converts to an application, do I do one lead on one day and then they might have applied the next week or the 3
Yeah,
days from then?
you get points for both.
Okay.
Yes, the leads have to be from Compass.
And how about Compass agent testimonials? Should that count for anything?
Yeah, it'll count because it'll help you drive more other business. So look, be creative, use what you have, right? And if I were doing this, I would literally be pounding the phones all day, right? And remember what we talked about in the beginning. Instead of trying to show value, be of value. Zig Ziglar said, help everyone get everything else they want in life and you'll have everything you ever wanted, right? So, Kamran, share with them how many leads you've gotten out of that one meeting you had.
Yeah, happy to say we're now at 11 leads, 11 referred clients over just from one meeting. I know that's crazy, but it's true. It was wild.
Yeah, and here's another thing, right? We talk about all these self-employed programs. I learned yesterday, and just being curious with Kamran and just talking to him, and we're talking about the contest. It's like you could send an email out like, did you know that you can borrow up to $5 million on a bank statement loan, and there's not even that much of a difference in the interest rate between a conforming loan. These are the kinds of things that pique interest curiosity, and intrigue. I'm pretty up to date. Last time I checked on programs like this was probably 2 years ago, and it was only $3 million, right? So you guys have a suite of programs that people have no idea about, right? So you want to be strategic, and just remember, if you can teach the agents what to listen for, they're going to hear something and they're like, oh man, Joe told me that. Thanks, Joe. Like I just got a lead from him, right? There are tons of people out there that can afford really expensive houses that just don't want to pay the government more money.
The other one too, Chirag, as we talked about yesterday, is buy downs are becoming important again. And we should talk about what to listen for there, because inventory is starting to pile up. There's stale inventory in a lot of cities, and buy downs are a really great tool. Okay.
I think they agree. Well, here's the thing. So here's your next presentation I want you to work down. Buy downs versus price reductions. What will drive a sale of a home?
Yep.
Anyone could beat Jessica in this, just want it more than she does. Like, this is the best part about this contest is, and no, I got some money on Jessica. I got money on Dan. I have to bet on Dan, right? So, you know, here's the thing. The person with the most initiative will win. Because in the end of the day, the person that is, no, a pre-approval counts as a lead. The person who's calling agents, talking to agents, going to meetings and doing all this other stuff, they're the ones that are going to win. Because they're doing the things that drive the revenue, right? I look at Ryan, Gretchen Coley, who's the top agent in his marketplace. She put him through a year's worth of shit, like literally shit. You got to meet this agent and this person and go here and go there and sponsor this and everything else. But then in return, she sat in a room with him and contacted all the top agents and made one-by-one introductions like, this is my guy. But he was being of value for an extended period of time. And Ryan, how much business has it helped you get in credibility?
A lot. I mean, it's hard to quantify. I'd have to go back and add it all up. But yeah, more than just Gretchen and her team, of course. It's bled into other relationships.
Yeah. But so you've got to realize that it's the Simon Sinek concept, the infinite game versus the finite game. When we look at everything transactionally, it's a finite game. It's like football, starting point and ending point, a winner and losing. Simon Sinek says business is like the infinite game. It just keeps going and going and going, right? Some days we're ahead, some days we're behind. New players come in, other players drop out, but the game never ends. This is a career that's an infinite game. So if Ryan and I work in the same market and I'm just trying to get deals and meet people and I'm a finite player and he's playing an infinite game, I might beat him for 12, 18, maybe even 24 months. But there's an equilibrium point where he's going to hit that X and what he's going to do will surpass anything I could ever do. Because he's playing a different game. If you look at Robert and Compass, Robert was playing a different game for 10 years. People laughed at him. I've never seen a good human that's had more negative things written about them in The Real Deal and Inman, and they're going bankrupt, they're broke, there's this, there's that. And you meet the people here, they're all happy. It's the biggest facade and lie in the world. But in that, he just kept his head down and just kept playing the same game because he knew that was the game that was going to get him to win. And now it's a company that the space that they have for both technology, agents, growth, market share is getting further and further and further away. Every person that I know in my life that I ever did business with as an agent asked me at least once a week, can you get me into a Compass office? Can you get me in a Compass office? People would die for this unlimited access. You guys, like, if you go to Comron and say, hey, can you find all the agents in this market that, like, in this office that do this kind of business and give me a list of them? They're willing to give you the data, right? Like, you can't get this stuff anywhere. So we're not all driving tons of revenue. It's not their fault. It's not the client's fault. It's our fault in the choices that we're making in a day and the appreciation and the way that we're using the resources that we have. No other loan officer has access to broker data. James, do you know anyone that has access to broker data like this?
No, certainly not a Compass. They don't.
I don't know anywhere, right? People would pay insurmountable amounts of money. So those are my marching orders. Take the next 35 minutes and build your plan, right? And when you have your plan, share it with Joe or share it with Comron of like, here's how I plan on attacking. And then we'll be highlighting people that are doing the best and sharing and interviewing with them what's working. And each week we'll come with one new email template, text idea, or something you can do.
And to be clear, this starts now, today?
Today. So go through June, July. This will end August 1st. So it'll be a little more than 60 days, but like at the end, we'll go all through June and we'll go all through July.
Two
See, they
questions.
have a standing ovation in the back for them.
Two questions on one on activity. If I call an agent, is that 2 points for the agent contact and 5 points for the conversation initiated?
Yes.
Okay. And two, on the week, can we put in the dates? So everybody's on the same page and not going back and forth of, did week one end? Did it, et cetera. Just put in the actual date so everybody's on the same page.
I'll put it on our weekly activity tab so that you guys can see
Thank you.
what it is, of course.
Yep. Any other questions?
Dan, are you gonna win this thing?
I'm gonna win this thing, and can I give my coach a shout out?
Yeah.
He beat me up about the buy before you sell, and I just want to share two success stories. One from speaking at the Beverly Hills meeting. We did a Stonecrest deal where the CD just went out yesterday, and I got to tell everybody, Stonecrest was great to work with on this deal. And we also did another buy before you sell. We're doing a Symmetry $1 million HELOC to get them ready for the down payment to buy before we sell.
How much was the HELOC?
$1 million.
Nice.
So thank you for the support.
Look, if you do the work, it works, right? And I always tell people the biggest mistake people make in any sales profession is thinking that the simple things don't work well, right? It's not. People say, you know, I have to master the majors. Like I need to know all this big thing. No, you need to master the minors because they're really the majors. Small actions done consistently produce oversized results. And at this level that we're all playing at, the people that are the most proactive and the most consistent win 100%. I tell team leaders all the time, find me somebody that can listen, follow directions and follow through. I'll take that person any day over the week than like some person that has amazing contacts in this database, because those things mean nothing unless they do something, right? Wow, a lot of action here today. All right, guys. So make your plan. Let's get started. Dan will start our plan next Tuesday. And look, I wish everyone the best of luck. And, you know, there's a great quote about luck. Luck is what happens when preparation meets opportunity. So you guys have all the training, all the knowledge. There's 40 plus of us here. Sucks for all the people that are not here. They're going to get a late start, right? And start jamming in some points today. And, get off this call and get on the phone, start texting people, start emailing people. And I'm going to look at this leaderboard at the, you know, before I go to bed tonight at like 11, 12 o'clock. And I want to see who actually did something. So this is like kind of where put your money where your mouth is. Like you want to make more money. In my mind, I told them this, any person that doesn't participate in this contest, therefore should not have a right to say, well, my business isn't going well. They'll send a link to Nest will send a link to everybody to access the sheet as soon as this call ends. Let's go East. I'm on the East Coast too, but I'm partial here. I like Kamran and Dan, and so I'm rooting for everybody. Like I want everybody to win because, like, yes, if you get a prize, you get some bragging rights. But what's a lot cooler than winning the contest is being like, I have a pipeline of $400,000 of commissions.
Drog, that's the best dad answer I've ever heard, by the way. That was great.
Yeah. So, all right, guys, let's rock. Bye, everybody.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Thanks, guys.